Now, Ted and Aniko, why don't you introduce us to your friends here?
So this is Jack. He's a 7-year-old German short-hair pointer, and then this is Deja. I don't think they're related, but we'll call her his sister, who is a 9-year-old German short-hair pointer as well.
Okay. And you have, with these two beautiful animals, a very special story. This is kind of one of the things that we want to celebrate here in Cache Valley, how people get involved. Now, there's no question that you two got involved, and we want you to tell us about it, please.
Yeah, well, it all started about a week ago with a Facebook post, and I don't Facebook, so I'll let my wife take over from here.
Yeah, so we have 2 dogs of our own, so we're part of a Facebook group, just Dogs of Cache Valley, and we found out about these dogs because someone posted that they had gone up Logan Canyon and done this pretty big trail run, and then they saw a dog out there, and that it needed to be rescued, but he didn't have the equipment with him to do it. Another runner went up another day later and kind of made a similar comment, mentioning that people needed snowshoes to get to the dog, and mentioning that this dog was actually with another dog that he was going back and forth up the mountain to check on. So when people were seeing him and thinking that there was only one, he wouldn't come to them because he was going back for her.
Now that sounds almost like a scenario out of a movie, doesn't it? He would not leave because he was going back to check on his sister.
Yeah, so she was, it was assumed that she was kind of under a tree. People, the second group to go could see her up there. But pretty much what was mentioned on Facebook was that someone needed snowshoes to get to these 2 dogs. They were pretty far back in the powder. So I said to Ted, we're huge dog lovers, and I was just like, we can't do nothing. Like we need to figure this out, and we're pretty familiar with the area. We do a lot of hiking and trail running, so we kind of knew the general area. And Ted actually wanted to get a really big jump start on it and hike up there at night.
Well, there was that fear of, I mean, what if there's more than dogs up there? Yeah. What if the owner is up there with a broken ankle or injured or just can't make it down? And so, I mean, something in my gut was saying, we got to take action. We got to do it now. And so
So did you go up at night?
We actually drove to the trailhead. We had 2 backpacks packed up. We had snowshoes. We had 1 pair of snowshoes. We had trekking poles. We had headlamps. We had road flares. We had safety equipment, a little bit of first aid equipment just in case someone was up there. And we ended up calling it off just because, I mean, it was 10 degrees out. We didn't know, we weren't that familiar with the specific ridgeline trail that went up.
So basically, having done that night, you could have died yourselves up there. Well, I mean, one slip on an icy cliff and you're done, right?
Exactly. And there were parts where, I mean, it was so snowy walking up the next day that I didn't know where the trail was. It was kind of just follow what I assume is the ridge, and there were a couple times where I'd just come over a crest and it was just a sheer drop off right there. And so then I'd have to wander around and find the footprints from the trail runners the day before or 2 days prior and kind of follow those up. And so that was kind of my guideline going up.
This may seem like a ridiculous question, but I'll ask it anyway. How did these angels get into such a horrible place, do we think?
I mean,
had somebody dumped them up there, do you think?
We'd heard things from the one, after getting them back, we got in touch with a family member who apparently they'd been in a neglectful situation prior, and we have reason to believe that they were dropped somewhere. And we started looking around on a map, and I mean, a very secluded area nearby to where they were found is the Providence Quarry. And so there's speculation that, someone could have dropped them up there, hoping that they would be a problem forgotten. But,
and the sad thing is no one was looking for them, which is part of the reason, and some information that we got from family members of these dogs, that, no one was looking for them. Why wouldn't you be looking for your dogs if you...
if it was my dogs, of which we're huge dog lovers at our house, if it was my dogs, I would have been hysterical up day and night looking for them. So that kind of, you're right, it does lead you to think that nobody was looking.
That was one of the things that really got to me too, because I mean, we have 2 dogs ourselves, and my wife is always sending me, oh, here's this adorable foster dog, oh, we should get this dog, but they're always dogs that are in someone's home or at the Humane Society or something like that. But when she told me about this wasn't some dogs that were in a home somewhere and needed a forever home. These were dogs on the side of a mountain that needed someone to get them. And
I'm almost rendered speechless by the absolute cruelty and inhumanity that somebody could do that to these innocent, I mean, dogs are so loving and dependent on you, how you could do anything like that. But on the flip side of this, along came 2 angels that day in the form of you 2. And instead of just passing these dogs, which a lot of people had, probably with the best of intentions, oh, we'll let somebody know that there's dogs out here, these 2 head up. He heads up. You had to go to work, right?
She had work at 7:30 the next morning, so this was last Tuesday. She went off to work and I went to the trailhead, and so I was on the trailhead within 10-12 minutes. And I
got to say this because he said, and when I got them down, shall we just say how you got Asia, is it? Deja. He had to carry this dog because their paws were so bloody and torn up from having walked miles and miles until literally she couldn't go on anymore, and he was trying to get help. He had to carry this dog on your back, on your front. How did you get her down?
Well, I actually had my backpack on and just put 2 legs on one side, 2 legs on the other, almost like a fireman carry kind of thing. And I mean, she was so exhausted that she just kind of went limp over my shoulders, and that's how I hiked down the majority of the mountain.
How far was it?
It was about 2 miles each way, but it was also like 3,500 feet of elevation gain. So I mean, when I got to the bottom, I checked my iPhone, which counts how many floors you've ascended, and it said I ascended 304 stories, which, to put that in comparison, the Eiffel Tower is 140.
Yeah, I've done the Eiffel Tower when I was a lot younger. I'm not sure I could do it now, and I'm probably pretty sure I couldn't have done what you did.
Yeah, I mean, it was, I mean, I had blisters for sure, but the whole time, I mean, in my mind, I was thinking when I started the trail was, okay, I need to be at work at 1 o'clock. And so I was like, okay, it'll probably take me 2 hours to get up, you know.
Quick rescue right here.
Like, quick rescue, in and out, we'll be good. It was about 4.5 hours before I got to the summit, and that was, it was dark when I started the hike. You go through that fog bank, you break through into the sunshine where you're post-holing through snow, and had to put on snowshoes for about the last mile of it. And I mean, it was a treacherous hike. I mean, I'm not gonna lie and say that I didn't get any great photos while I was up there, because I mean, it was gorgeous just the way that the clouds were blanketing the whole valley and just mountaintops poking up all around me. But every time I would stop to look around, I just kept thinking, you know, these dogs aren't looking at the scenery anymore. And so, yeah, I think
that you had said when you just brought them down that 3,000 mile hike down there, and you got them into the vet and the Humane Society, they definitely said that they wouldn't have lasted another night.
Yeah, I'm sure they wouldn't have. I mean, the way that the previous hikers had seen Jack here, like coming in and out of the woods, making contact with them to a degree, that had all ended by the time I got there. When I reached the point where
he'd had it too by then.
Had it too, yeah. When I reached the point where all the other footprints had stopped and kept pressing on past there, that's when I started hearing whimpering, and I even, you know, was texting my wife because, you know, my snowshoes, it was just such fine powder up there. My snowshoes were post-holing through. I just had the little snowshoes, and you know, I was like pretty much at a dead-on sprint up the side, the last, you know, 100 yards. Finally got to them, and they were both just cowering under a tree where there was one patch of, you know, dry ground with no snow on it, and yeah, they were done. I picked her up, started carrying her down, and he was, yeah, about 10 feet away the whole time.
And you can actually, I don't know if we saw that, but you can actually see his little paw right there, that pad. It's still pretty raw looking. It's just, like I say, there's two sides to a coin here, and I'm very glad. It's my privilege to talk to you guys today, because I feel like on the one side you've got these monsters that do that, and I'm sorry, but that's if you're taking innocent animals out and leaving them to die, you're a monster. But on the flip side of that, here rise two angels who totally and absolutely did the right thing. Sounds like some kind of personal, almost fatal to their own selves. Now, you had to turn them over to the Humane Society because if a vet can't treat a dog unless it's yours, or an animal, because they could be sued, obviously. So you turn them over to the Humane Society, but then you got them back again, and they've been living with these guys all week. But tell us now the good news. You can't keep them because your house isn't that big and you've already got two. I know that feeling.
Well,
so
I mean, the buzz that was created with Facebook being involved in social media, it was really the perfect outlet to find or keep this momentum of the story going to let's find these people their forever home. And that gave us the opportunity to meet quite a few families that were interested. And the new family that is at the top of the list that we're planning on meeting this weekend is down in sunny Arizona, where we're going to be driving them down this weekend to drop them off with their new parents, and they're going to be with them. Yeah, they're going to stay together. They're not going to be separated. That was one of the huge conditions. Was obviously if he's going to work so hard to stay with his sister, we're not going to separate him. And they're never going to see a snowy mountain again down there in Arizona. I'm sure they're not going to complain about that.
No, probably not.
Yep.
And you had set up a GoFundMe page because people just kept offering, and in the end you got a little bit of money going, but you really didn't need it, did you? Because and so you shut it down, telling people kindly, thanks so much for donating, but we really don't. You thought you were going to have vet fees.
Yeah, exactly. Well, taking them to the vet, we thought we were going to have vet fees. The community did a great job turning out and saying, how can we help? Can we buy you dog food? Like, how can I give you money? And that's when we set up this GoFundMe. And I mean, originally we were hoping to get a couple $100s for maybe a little bit of the vet fees and this and that, and we shut it down at $1,000 after, I mean, I think it was 24 hours, and we were like, no, we don't need any more. I mean, there's only so much we can do for these dogs. I mean, and
so the rest of the, so you've spent cute little collars, cute little leads, you maybe got them a few treats. So what are you going to, you've told me what you're going to do with the rest of the money, which you've got some left over. You tell the people now.
Yep. Well, we're gonna donate the remaining funds to the Humane Society because they've been so helpful, providing treatment for them, providing a cone for Jack so he won't lick his feet, pain meds for him, all of that. And we're gonna just donate the rest to the Humane Society to hopefully help out other pets that are there, and waiting for any viewers to go pick them up.
Well, what a glorious end to this story. We've got a little gift for you here.
She wants it.
We'll let you hold that. That's from a few of the people that we work with here at the Valley Channel. There's I think a pizza, well, you can have some pizza maybe, a pizza coupon, and Great Harvest, I think, gave us the basket and some bread and things. And of course, we want to thank everybody. Truly is the flip side of this coin is that there are people out, we don't see it. We don't see it a lot these days. There's so many horror stories going on of people being shot and all kinds of just horrendous activities. To see you two shining through is a pleasure and a privilege for me, and I'm sure the people watching, and we're just so grateful that you had that feeling to go back and you sort of punching him in the arm to get going, probably, if it's anything like my house. And so thanks so much. You guys are angels. You truly are. And the patron saint of animals, probably, here in Cache Valley. Thanks to you guys. Thanks to our sponsors. Thanks to the sportsmen who are always involved in doing good in the community here in Cache Valley, for letting us come and talk to these two angels here today. Well, 4 angels, actually, right? And thanks again. And you guys, if you feel the need, you can always donate to the Cache Humane Society. They always need money to help out people like this. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.